This is spectacular. This is spectacular. We have debris thousands of feet in the air.
Friday, July 18th, a chilling sight in the afternoon skies.
There are flash fires on all the high-tension wires.
A powerful tornado does a dance of destruction across 5 Twin Cities suburbs.
Another touchdown, another touchdown.
Even more amazing, these historic pictures broadcast live from Sky 11.
I'm going to have to leave this area here. The debris is drifting my way.
Never before has anyone captured so clearly the force of this twisting menace. Good evening. Welcome to Unheard Sirens. We call our special that for one reason, because so many people ignored Friday's warning sirens in favor of a mesmerizing display in the skies.
In addition to showing you what must be the most photographed, most watched tornado in the world, we will remind you of what should be done when the warnings sound.
But we begin tonight with a second look at the riveting pictures from Sky 11. The twister tore through like a giant egg beater, its 200-mile-an-hour plus winds ripping up the earth for more than half an hour in all. The sight of its unleashed power defies description. The pictures tell the story. A little later in the program, a special segment for VCR owners, a chance to record the historic sight. Diana?
It is indeed remarkable that the damage done wasn't far worse, that no lives were lost. We have a team report tonight on just what did suffer from the twister and how people are rebuilding. The Springbrook Nature Center, once a place of quiet beauty, is now a place of disturbing beauty. Its mighty oaks felled by something even mightier. The damage is surveyed daily. Half of the 127 acres were damaged Friday. 5,000 to 10,000 trees badly battered or destroyed. What cleanup will take place won't be easy. But most of the destruction will stay as is. Nature took its course here, and this is, after all, a nature center. Nature's power is still being felt in another damaged area. Alan Cosentini has that story.
The ANR trucking terminal in Fridley was just a day away from its grand opening when the tornado walked over its fence, tore off part of the roof, flipped a trailer, and ripped off 30 doors. Jerry Waldorf thought the twister had spared them when it suddenly hit the new building.
And the only reason I watched it that long was because I had a safe place to go.
Emergency crews have already repaired the doors and roof. The fence is being replaced. Only the gouges on the pavement from the trailer remain as evidence of the tornado's power. This was the worst structural damage from the tornado, but there was other damage, as Kirsten Lindquist reports.
The building and rebuilding go on side by side at the Edinburgh housing development in northern Brooklyn Park. Houses that weren't completely finished now bear battle scars from Friday's nightmare, shattered windows and tattered roofs. Cindy Kuhar and her youngest child watch as workers try to put together what nature wrenched apart.
We stood in the parking lot for about 40 minutes and watched it go over the development.
Knowing that it was coming.
Tearing us apart, yeah.
Measured in dollars, the tornado chalked up $500,000 in damage in northern Brooklyn Park, but that's all. Measured in human terms, it took no toll. And for that, people here are grateful. Kirsten Lindquist, News 11.
Many of the homes in Edinburgh were not yet occupied, an unintentional lucky break during the tornado's path through the area.
Another amazing thing about the tornado is that so many people saw it. Thousands watched it on TV.
But thousands more
about to hear and see is probably common knowledge. Many people risked their lives last Friday, taking home movies of the weather monster hovering over their backyards. In Brooklyn Park, curious spectators crowded onto a shopping center parking lot to get a closer look.
Just trying to get the handle on right now. There we go. Make things a little bit easier.
This footage was shot through a living room window.
Hey, James.
Yeah. You get sound on this? You bet.
It must be stated emphatically that all of these people were endangering themselves unnecessarily. They were literally tempting fate. The next time, if there is a but affects a very tiny percentage of the viewing area. Most injuries are from flying glass. 200-mile-an-hour mobile homes are particularly vulnerable. If you live in a mobile home, there should be a designated shelter you can go to when the sirens blow. The safest place? Your basement, under the stairs, under a heavy table if possible. If you don't have a basement, a small windowless room near the center of the house on the ground floor offers the greatest protection. That's also true of office buildings. Avoid windows at all cost. And remember, the smaller the room and the more walls between you and the tornado, the better. In schools, students should follow their teachers' instructions. Crouching down next to lockers in an interior hallway usually offers the best possible protection. Outside, move away from the tornado at right angles. If a shelter can't be reached in time, get out of your vehicle and crawl into a ditch beside the road. With planning, occasional drills, and a little common sense, you can avoid becoming a tornado statistic. Coming up live via satellite from Oklahoma City, an interview with Don Burgess. He's a scientist and a professional tornado chaser. And Paul and Diana, he'll tell us what scientists can learn from Friday's spectacular tornado sighting.
All right, we'll get back to you in just a moment. Unheard Sirens will continue in just a moment.
And we'll meet the man who first confirmed Friday's twister. Please stay with us.
Unheard Sirens is brought to you by Norwest Banks. We know the way. We are Norwest. And by your Northland Ford dealers. And by North Heart Center at North Memorial Medical Center.
Too many heart patients end up at this door. Even though today, many heart attacks can be avoided. At North Heart Center, we're using the latest medical science to provide earlier diagnosis and treatment of heart disease. The best way to avoid this door is to use this door. See your doctor. Get your heart checked. North Heart Center.
It's only natural that the newest look in front-wheel drive family sedans comes from Ford. We taught the world aerodynamics with Ford Thunderbird. It's no surprise one of the most efficient family sedans comes from Ford. Around the world, Ford Escort means economy. The new world-class Ford Taurus. Available in 16 contemporary colors, including Bright Canyon Red, Oxford White, and Regatta Blue, at your Northland Ford dealers.
We shouldn't look at this house again. It's too perfect. Oh, that loan is not going to go through.
We'll work with you.
Sure. I just know it. I never get anything this perfect.
Hey.
We'll do our best.
By the way, Norwest called this morning. You just got your perfect house.
We know the way. We are Norwest.
If you're going to tell people about Senior Gold from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, then you're going to have to learn a few things.
You mean that Senior Gold gives you the best of Aware Gold?
Yeah.
Your choice of doctors?
Yeah.
And worldwide coverage?
Uh-huh.
What else is there?
Just the most important part. With Senior Gold, you call the shots.
That whole thing? Senior Gold, when you're doing 65 or better.
What we know about tornadoes is thanks in part to scientists known as storm chasers, meteorologists who gather data by putting themselves and their equipment directly in the path of the twisters. We showed you how they work last year on News 11 when Paul Douglas and photographer Bob Derlin tagged along with professional storm chasers over some 4,000 miles of Oklahoma. And they scored a coup on the very last day of their trip as their equipment recorded valuable data from the midst of a tornado. One tornado expert on that team was Don Burgess, a Doppler radar specialist who spent years studying twisters.
And Paul Douglas is over in the Weather Center, joined by Don Burgess via Skylink 11 from Oklahoma City.
Diana, Paul, I want to point out right off the top, I'm not going to try to kid you. I am not a tornado expert, but with us this evening is somebody who is. Don has analyzed, dissected hundreds of tornadoes, trying to figure out what makes them tick. Don, thank you for joining us this evening live from Oklahoma City. We sure appreciate it.
I'm glad to be talking to you, Paul.
We've only given you 36 hours to analyze this video. I get a paycheck from Channel 11. I was obviously biased, but very impressed with the video. I want your candid, unbiased opinion of what you saw on the tape.
Well, we're very excited about it. It's spectacular video. It's a perspective that we just haven't seen before, and we just have not been able to see that detail in tornadoes, apart from trying to construct models of them until we got this video.
Now, Don, what do scientists hope to learn from studying footage? I know you're able to track debris and estimate wind speeds. What do you hope to learn from Friday's tornado outbreak?
Well, we'd like to learn about the detail of the tornado. We have such a close view that we can examine the fine scales that heretofore we just haven't been able to handle. But I must also tell you it's quite a challenge, because anyone who's seen that video or saw that tornado knows how complicated and complex some of the processes are that are taking place.
Don, two brief questions here. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to ask two important things. What gave it its whitish appearance, first off? And a lot of folks complained that they did not hear the telltale roar of the tornado as it approached. Why?
Well, first, the reddish color, I think, just is from the soil there and some of the vegetation, some of the tree leaves and pine needles and so forth that were being ingested into the tornado. But now the sound is kind of a fickle thing in a tornado. Sound waves can be attenuated by strong winds. So whether or not you hear the roar of a tornado depends whether the winds around the tornado are blowing in such a manner to let the sound waves pass or to extinguish them. The tornado can come close to you and you don't hear the roar all the time.
I see. Don Burgess, we hope you can use the videotape to learn more about tornadoes and hopefully make them easier to predict in the years to come. And we want to thank you for joining us live from Oklahoma City this evening.
Thank you. We're very happy to have the video.
Okay. Paul, Diana, back to you.
All right, Paul. Thank you very much.
Well, Friday's twister adds some credence to the theory that a tornado alley exists in the metro area.
We called on meteorologist Andre Bernier, who forecasts for Northwest Airlines, in addition to working for News 11. To check that out, he begins a team report.
Lake Minnetonka, a quiet and pleasant spot most of the time. But when severe weather crops up, it seems as though a giant magnet gets turned on and pulls most of the severe weather through here. Is there a reason for this geographical favoritism, or is it just a statistical glitch? History indicates that a majority of the tornadoes have favored a path from Carver County to Anoka County, north and west of the cities. Cases in point: the Fridley Tornado of 1965, a family of storms that killed 16 people. The Edina to Roseville Tornado of 1981, a multi-million-dollar storm that left one dead. And the St. Anthony Tornado that tore up Apache Plaza and severely damaged dozens of homes. Rainfall amounts also seem to run higher in these very same paths during the summer months, and this makes sense. Where you find tornadoes, you usually find heavy rain. Several theories for the pattern include wind currents along our major rivers and the heat dome that develops over the metro on a hot summer day. Weather conditions that Friday were ripe for the display for Mother Nature's power. Temperatures were in the 90s, dew points in the high 70s, about as high as it gets here. The unstable air rose and produced a growing thunderstorm in northwest Hennepin County, which began to rotate. And much like the whirlpool in a bathtub drain, the tornado formed on the thunderstorm's southwest side, adding yet one more tornado to the collection in the Twin Cities Tornado Alley. We still need more studies to find out whether this phenomenon is fact or fluke. But one thing is for certain: tornadoes form quickly, and that makes it difficult for the warnings to be issued in a timely fashion. News 11 meteorologist Sally Patrick now has more on the people who put those words of warning out last Friday.
I could see the funnel touching down and the debris being pulled up in it at that time.
When Brooklyn Park police officer Larry Ekman walked out of headquarters and saw the tornado Friday, he set off a series of events that officially warned the Twin Cities. Officer Ekman was the official confirmation of the twister, and he also became a tornado chaser, watching it move to the east.
I could see a lot of, looked like 2x4s, wood shingles and things like that going up in the debris.
When Officer Ekman first saw the tornado, he radioed Hennepin County to confirm it. The time, 4:47 p.m.
There is the tornado right about there. This is the cell producing the tornado. Currently, Max...
News 11 meteorologist Paul Douglas is on the air moments later, relaying the information about the sighting. Information we picked up on police scanners. Information that came straight from Officer Ekman. And since the tornado popped up so quickly, that's how the National Weather Service found out about it too. Police scanners. The twister formed so fast that radar didn't have a chance to pick it up. A little later on in this program, we'll be speaking with National Weather Service meteorologist John Graff about that and more. Paul and Diana?
Still to come, we'll meet the man some call Mad Max.
One of those responsible for last Friday's dramatic pictures of the tornado. Please stay with us.
My first thought, there really wasn't any because it was so fast. And then it was scary. Everybody was shaking.
So how's the future, Doctor?
And what I make? I might make medical school by the year 1999.
We'll work with you.
I don't think it'll take that long.
And what, I got a rich uncle or something?
We'll do our best.
Nope. Just a good bank. Norwest came through.
We know the way. We are Norwest.
Too many heart patients end up at this door. Even though today, many heart attacks can be avoided. At North Heart Center, we're using the latest medical science to provide earlier diagnosis and treatment of heart disease. The best way to avoid this door is to use this door. See your doctor. Get your heart checked. North Heart Center.
Ford Tempo just keeps getting better. New styling, new performance, new economy, and now newer, bigger savings. Now you can get financing as low as 6.9% annual percentage rate, or cash back of up to $600. $600 you can apply to your down payment or keep. 600 American dollars. See your Northland Ford dealer today.
The incredible pictures of Friday's tornado would not have been possible without Sky 11 pilot Max Mesmer and news photographer Tom Empey. And their accomplishment has tossed them into the local celebrity limelight. Max and Tom were guests on KSTP Talk Radio this week, just one of their many invitations to satisfy viewers' curiosity. What becomes clear from what Tom and Max have to say is that they were in full control of the situation at all times. Their own safety came first. They knew Sky 11 could outrun the storm if things became treacherous.
Still, there's no doubt there was an element of danger involved in the cat and mouse game Max played with Friday's tornado. Max describes his flight as a calculated risk, a risk he was prepared to take for what he calls the opportunity of a lifetime. In last night's Aquatennial Torchlight Parade, adulation for Max and his machine. Cheers for a fantastic flight.
He's got to be dumber than we are.
You know, there's a certain element of risk involved in most anything, but I stayed with what I thought was a safe distance away, and but still close enough to get some great pictures.
For Max, the office is a Bell Jet Ranger 3. More than half of his 49 years have been spent flying. His 17,000 hours in the air include 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. He admits flying for a television station at times can be tame.
Quite frankly, I got to the point where, you know, I asked myself, this is really my line of work, because it does tend to get boring at times, but I think I have a different outlook on the job after last Friday, because it obviously can be exciting.
And Friday's game of tornado helicopter hopscotch has launched Max from dark obscurity to a limelight he's finding fun.
NBC Nightly News.
What is remarkable about this is that we can see it so well. Photographed from a helicopter piloted by Max Mesmer.
I enjoy it while it lasts, because it won't be that long.
He is enjoying it too. Max has received a lot of mail, a lot of phone calls. This is from a young fellow, Billy Wirtanen, who's 6 years old. He lives out in Plymouth. You can see Max in the helicopter here. There's Paul Douglas warning everybody. There's a tornado, a downed tree. And Billy's learned a lesson. Here's Billy in his house hiding underneath a piece of heavy furniture right there. So he knows what to do.
And those are all the things that we talked about last Friday night.
Very perceptive young man.
Thanks, Billy. Well, frightening though it may have been, Friday's tornado can teach us some valuable lessons.
Like the one Billy learned.
That's right.
Paul Douglas is joined now by National Weather Service meteorologist John Graff with more on that. Paul?
Paul and Diana, as it turns out, Billy was one of the smart ones. It wasn't so much, John, a case of unheard sirens. The sirens worked perfectly. It was more a case of ignored or unheeded sirens on the parts of hundreds of people, I'm sure rational, sane, intelligent people who left their basements, went outside into their front lawns, took pictures, gawked at this thing for half an hour. What do you think of that?
That isn't right. We know that, Paul. The essential fact is this. The tornado was moving at only about 1/4 of the normal speed of a tornado. It appeared to be stationary. You heard many people saying, I think we'll go to our shelter, and all of a sudden they said, no, we will use less sane judgment in this, and they were going to go ahead and look at the tornado itself and look at it at that perspective. And what has really happened is that an incorrect lesson has been learned. Everyone who were able to observe that tornado, and perhaps the younger children who will grow up with this, say, oh, I was out with my parents. I remember we stood there, and they're going to remember that. The lesson we like to recall, although we don't want to go through another Fridley, is the fact that you go to the shelter, you heed all of these warnings. Had that picked up speed at that time, they wouldn't have been as fortunate as the helicopter pilot who could get away real quickly.
That's a good point.
They would have been caught had that turned and picked up speed, and they've been known to do so. So a lesson has been learned that is not a good one.
Things developed explosively in just a matter of 8-9 minutes Friday afternoon.
That's very true.
Were you happy with the way things worked in general? What would you like to see during the next tornado outbreak?
Fine. What we would like to see is keep them just as slow as that, Paul, so we can work with them. But the key really is the fact that we had sense in the fact that it was developing very, very rapidly. The communications people as far as public TV worked very nicely. We were pleased with that. We were pleased with the fact that all of those who were in direct path of the tornado did take heed to those particular warnings, and in the next time when this happens, we hope everyone realizes the fact that these rules must be observed.
Okay, John, thank you for joining us. Paul, Diana, despite the promise of Doppler, there really is no substitute for first-hand observation, skywarn observers, law enforcement out on the field. And next time, we hope we're ready, and we hope people really heed those warnings next time around.
Exactly.
An excellent point. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Well, start your VCRs rolling in a few seconds.
Our next segment will give you a chance to record the best of the tornado video.
It looked just like a regular whirlwind. And then the farther it got up towards this direction, it all hell blew loose.
Right now, these may be America's best truck values. Right now, you can save almost $2,200 on new full-sized Ford pickups with special trim and transmission packages. Right now, you can get 6.9% APR or $600 cash back on new Ford Rangers. And they're still available in 16 all-American colors, including Bright Canyon Red, Colonial White, and Regatta Blue. Now, at your Northland Ford dealers.
Paris, France.
Dream on.
We'll work with you.
French with champagne.
Yeah, French fries, maybe?
We'll do our best.
Remember my Norwest money market account? We're going.
We're really going?
Unless, of course, you want to. I didn't say I
We all know
it. Too many heart patients end up at this door. Even though today, many heart attacks can be avoided. At North Heart Center, we're using the latest medical science to provide earlier diagnosis and treatment of heart disease. The best way to avoid this door is to use this door. See your doctor. Get your heart checked. North Heart Center.
This weekend, Paramount Pictures invites you to take off
I feel the need.
with Top Gun.
First speed. Woo! Rock and roll.
Top Gun, rated PG. And Take It Easy.
I'm taking a day off.
With Ferris Bueller.
This is my 9th sick day this semester.
He's very popular, Ed.
And I'm probably going to have to barf up a lung.
They think he's a righteous dude.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, rated PG-13. Now at theaters everywhere.
Unheard Sirens is being brought to you by North Heart Center at North Memorial Medical Center. And by your Northland Ford dealers. And by Norwest Banks. We know the way. We are Norwest.
There are many people who deserve a great deal of thanks for helping put together the coverage we were able to bring you last Friday. And there's one who deserves special attention. He's proud father and photographer Tom Empey, the talented young man who shot the historic tape of the tornado. His son Jacob was born just 7 weeks ago, and Tom admits one of his first thoughts while shooting that day was of his wife Jerry and son Jacob. Tom's been with us at News 11 for a little over a year, and it would be an understatement to say we're glad to have him here and proud of him.
Yeah, we want to show you right now. This is the lens that Tom took those pictures with. It's called a gyro zoom lens. And for you camera buffs at home, you people that know about photography, this is a 6,300 millimeter lens. It gets a very tight picture from a very great distance. When you're up in a helicopter, you're bouncing around like this. What happens in here, the lens is stabilized, so you can focus far off, and this stabilizes the picture so you can go into a very tight picture and it's very steady. It's adaptable to all of our cameras here at News 11. It just attaches to the cameras right here, but primarily we use it up in the helicopter so that we get good-looking pictures. And by the way, it's worth about $14,000. So
No.
Make
you hang on to it.
We'll put it in Tom Ryder's chair, then is what we'll do. We'll just set it over here for now, then. We'll get rid of that.
And now we're going to come through on our promise, so get your VCR machine going.
Tom Empey has put together several minutes of the best of the Twisters video, so get ready for the ride of your life.
This is spectacular. This is spectacular. We have debris thousands of feet in the air. There are flash fires on all the high-tension wires. We're about 3/4 of a mile from the actual touchdown at this time.
In the basement!
You can hear the roar. Sounds like a freight train. This is really spectacular.
Well, it was definitely a dramatic 33 minutes, a spectacular sight like no other.
But before we go, we'd like to urge you to remember the safety tips we gave you tonight and to leave the tornado watching to the pros with the experience and the equipment to deal with twisters.
We'd also like to thank many people tonight, but if we thanked everyone who deserved it, we'd be here till the wee hours of the morning, but I guess we're going to do our best here.
That's right. And remember, please, that the next time a tornado approaches, take cover. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
This is a bold new experiment.
Late night moves to another dimension. Stereo sound.
This is going to be an amazing development, probably the most amazing development in the last, what, 40 years? At least.
And when Phil Collins or Eric Clapton or Eddie Van Halen sits in with the band, well, just listen.
Now we're really in stereo.
Is the band in stereo tonight?
Now we're in stereo. We believe, yes, the band is in stereo.
We think we're in stereo.
Now, McDonald's introduces something. McDonald's introduces new garden salad. Toss me a salad, a crisp new taste. Toss it for me fresh all day. New McDonald's garden salad. This taste goes any place. It's a good time for the great taste. What McDonald's?
Meryl Streep.
I don't believe in marriage.
Jack Nicholson.
Neither do I.
In A Story of Love.
We're having a baby. Yeah.
Oh, baby. Marriage.
Just keep breathing. You can do it. I don't want to do it, honey. Can't we get somebody else to do it?
And romantic indigestion. Heartburn.
It's marriage.
Rated R.
Starts tomorrow at a theater near you. Check newspapers for theaters and time.
Hello? Hi, Jim.
Dave!
I just want to tell you, Steve, playing golf with you is a real experience.
Hey, not everybody can make a shot like that.
Seriously, Steve. It's great getting
Whether
together.
you live out of town or just a few minutes away,
What, 30 minutes away?
remember,
We should stay in touch.
There's so much left to say.
Call me next week, and I'll let you know.
Know what?
Your score. It'll take me that long to add it up.
Don't drift away.
He's still the king of late night comedy. Johnny Carson, late nights on TV 11.